Welcome back, Bepro Network balls. I had a deep conversation with myself into my investment thesis in regards to Bepro Network, and I think it boiled down to this one concept that is very, very important for you to understand if you're going to invest into Bepro Network, and why this utility of the Bepro token will play such a huge role into price action going forward into a blockchain-based economy. And that concept is that the Bepro Network framework will be the future of work in relation to software development, application, or website online. Anything that can be developed online will be developed through the framework of Bepro Network. So we're going to break down this concept of how and why exactly I believe that Bepro Network is the future of work, and how the framework of the Bepro Network protocol will be used by blockchain-based organizations and applications, and already established traditional companies that have not yet implemented blockchain, and how they can use a blockchain-based protocol to develop non-blockchain-based applications. We're going to delve a little deeper into that idea later on in the video. So let's first cover the basics and the example that applies to Bepro Network itself. So, Layer X, the organization, has many products. They use the Bepro Network branded protocol in order to develop their products. They can use the Bepro Network protocol in order to host the bounties they need to be completed and the developments they want to be implemented into their products. For example, Timecodes, DAppKit, or Bepro Network itself. Now, the beauty of Bepro Network is that it's a framework. It is a white label compatible framework, meaning another organization can come along, use that framework for themselves without even being tied to the original framework itself. There's already many examples of this within the more traditional established software world, such as Shopify, where you can white label the framework for an online store, but have it branded towards you. And any customers that use your website have a seamless experience of an online store without being bombarded by the fact that it is a Shopify web-based application. So if we tie that back to Bepro Network, in order for organizations or companies or projects to use this framework, they need to do a token lockup on the Bepro Network protocol for currently 5 million Bepro. And then they gain access to all of the following features. They can brand this protocol exactly how they would like to. They can choose the blockchain of choice that their bounty network runs on. They can choose the colors, the branding. They can choose the tokens that are usable within their bounty network, and many, many more features. So let's give a blockchain-based example. If one of the most widely used and established blockchain projects within the space decided to use Bepro Network's bounty framework for their project in order to continue the development and outsource the development of their product, for an example, Polygon, whom we already have an established partnership with, they would be able to launch their own version of the bounty network seamlessly without any Bepro branding whatsoever. They will be able to host the development of many other dApps found within their ecosystem. That's one client locking up 5 million. But I'm sure you'll think, okay, 5 million is a decent amount of Bepro, but to make any meaningful impact on the token price, you would need quite a few projects. So where does that come from? Now, if the applications found within the MATIC blockchain go on to the MATIC bounty network and see, wow, this is a really powerful tool. Once these projects realize that they have access to the same tools that industry leaders within their very own space decided to use for their own framework, they too can leverage this technology and make their own branded version of a bounty network for their own community. They can customize the bounty network to however they please. If they've got their own token within their own project, they may want to use that as the token used to interact with their bounty network. So then that opens up the possibility for so many more clients within the blockchain space to use Bepro Network and lock up 5 million Bepro. And you can see how the knock-on effects of this, of mass token lockup, can have a huge impact on supply. Now, the lockup number can change based on the demand for the framework itself. However, if you've already locked up the tokens, you need to ensure that your bounty network has no active bounties within it in order to claim back the token. So it's not as if we will see already established bounty networks pulling out their locked up Bepro to put in at a lower rate. They've already got tons and tons of bounties flowing through their project. So now let's move to the more established and traditional space of companies. Now, the beauty of how the Bepro Network framework works is that you are not forced into building blockchain only based applications. You could build a website, you could build a more personalized application for your product, or you could upload and improve on already established software for your company through a fully immutable and ledgered blockchain. So as an example, if a traditional company already has an application that may have some bugs, or they would like new features to be built into this application, and they'd like to harness the power of the wider world and not have to go through the painstaking process of hiring an expensive developer to work closely with their team. They can use the Bepro Network bounty framework in order to launch these bounties to the wider world. They can upload their application to GitHub so the files are accessible, and they can then place the bounty and have it all completed seamlessly via the power of blockchain. And on top of all of this, because as we know, and we've already established, that Layer X is one of the best up-and-coming teams within the blockchain space, they have already seamlessly integrated other tools for these traditional companies that are unfamiliar with blockchain, tools necessary in order to implement blockchain-based features into their already established software via one of their other tools named DAppKit. Now, by using DAppKit, companies do not need to have any knowledge whatsoever of blockchain-based development because it is a tool that translates the already coded blockchain functionalities found on DAppKit into JavaScript and TypeScript. These are the languages that their software and applications are very likely to be built on already. So, in an instant, through Bepro Network, they can have these features embedded into their product. Now, in order to have new features added to DAppKit, you have to use Bepro Network. So, if a company would like a blockchain-based feature to be embedded within their product without it needing to be blockchain-based code itself, they can host a bounty on Bepro Network. It can be implemented into DAppKit, and then that feature can be implemented from DAppKit into their product without any blockchain coding on their behalf. But then I thought, this goes even deeper. Using DAppKit, they could instantly launch a token for their bounty network designed specifically for their company that has no value, and then it can be used as a sort of social token within their own bounty framework. They could host the jobs that they need to have completed within their own company, as the rewards being their own personalized social token, and then the performance of their workers can be based off the total amount of these social tokens earned, and then they can decide how to reward their best performing workers. But this is just the tip of the iceberg, because the true potential of having an open source bounty framework is limitless for the development of any web-based form of software or application. And to keep you in the loop, Bepro Network team have been hosting Twitter Spaces with some very large and already established Layer 1s and already established projects and Layer 1 blockchain on Twitter Spaces to talk about decentralized development. Many of them have expressed the desire for bounties and a bounty network in the future. And in the most recent one with CoinX, our CEO stated that alongside the already established partnerships with MATIC and Aurora, they already have some other Layer 1s lined up, excited to use the bounty network framework. So this is just the beginning. You can only imagine what could happen to a framework like this once the interest for crypto comes back in the future. Things are happening behind the scenes now. Everyone says the bear markets are made for building, and this is exactly what the Bepro Network team are doing. They are overshooting their already aspirational goals, and we are still in the second quarter of the year. So you can only imagine what's in store for the coming year and how mass adoption of the bounty framework itself can lead to a massive supply shock of the Bepro token alongside a rise in demand. Now, this is just one of the avenues of the token utility of Bepro Network, and there are many, many more that we have to cover on this channel. I hope this has been a big eye-opener for potential investors or people who are already invested within Bepro Network, because once you understand this very concept of the bounty framework, you really start to get a grasp of the true opportunity here as an early investor into such a revolutionary product that is Bepro Network. If you have any questions regarding this or any other aspect of Bepro Network, please leave them in the comments. I'd love to chat to you about it. I could chat all day about Bepro Network. I'm sure you've all been able to establish this already, so don't be scared to ask any questions. And with that, I'll see you in the next one, Bepro Bulls.